fun of it because it happens too much.
So, yeah, this is what, 5th drummer?
Is it? I don't know. I stopped asking questions.
John and Dave, which Dave was great. It was just a distance thing. He was in, like, the San Fernando Valley.
Oh, damn.
And it was too much traffic. And then another John. Mm-hmm. And then Travis, and now Richie. Yeah.
And we had a couple in between, a couple of substitutes. You know, we have Brandon, who was the drummer of Top Shelf Shake for a very long time.
Awesome.
Who's great. And he's going to be doing the show with us at the Continental.
I heard that.
October 5th.
Oh,
awesome.
So he'll be filling in. Richie couldn't make it. He had a previous engagement, but Brandon was nice enough to step in, and he's going to be doing those 4 hours at the Glendora Continental, so that's going to be very exciting. Also, Marco, who is now Top Shelf Shake's current drummer, subbed for us. He did an amazing job. Right. He's a very talented musician, Marco Duarte. Of now Top Shelf Shake. So any new pictures that people are checking out of Top Shelf Shake, you'll see Marco in there as a drummer as opposed to Brandon. So, but both those guys have been able to help out TFE and kind of like, we're all a nice network of musicians. And we all met together because of our old singer of the hotline put together this league. Well, Travis put it together. This asshole named it. The League of Extraordinary Musicians, and we all kind of would get together every other Wednesday.
Well, I'll tell you, this was before you were even in the band.
Okay.
When we were down a drummer, I wouldn't let Jimmy stop. I'm like, you keep going. Whether or not you have a drummer, we start playing coffee houses, we do acoustic stuff, we keep going. Yeah. So we went and did an open mic it used to be the Hip Kitty in Claremont.
Okay.
Aaron called me and said, hey, I want to go. Can you pick me up? So we picked up Aaron.
Aaron is the singer of Top Shelf Shake. He's been on the show twice.
So Aaron was there with us. And then when we got there, I'm drawing a blank on his name. Porcelain Hill.
Oh, Big D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was there playing with his drummer. Mm-hmm. And they were down a bass player at that point, looking for a bass, doing the same thing we were. We were drummer hunting. And I'm like, well, you never know who's going to get up and play and who's not playing with anybody. Or, let's just go sing a song. Here's my website, all that stuff. So we went and did that, and I have a picture of the three of them out in front of the Hip Kitty that night. That was, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago.
Dope.
Nice. Yeah.
Before any of this. And I can't believe all the stuff Porcelain Hill's doing. It's amazing. The tour.
Dude, they're on tour right now. Porcelain Hill. Anybody out there can find them on Apple Music. Before that, they did like a southern tour where they went like to New Orleans.
They were in my hood.
They were all over the South. And they come back. They take a couple months off. They write an album or put it out. And now they're in the UK, just playing. They only went out there with like a handful of shows booked, and just while they were out there, they were just
picking up shows.
They were just picking up shows every day that they didn't have a show. And I've seen some videos, and it's been pretty impressive. They've been playing with some legends out there, some blues legends out there, and I mean, good for them. And they'll be back soon. They're getting ready to come back real soon.
And that's another thing we tried to teach him, is that this isn't a competition. It's not, who's better than who and any of that. Of course, you want to be the best musician you could be, but this isn't a competition. There's enough room for everybody. And the more you guys help each other, the further you're all going to go.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And that's what Jimmy and I would sidebar a lot. And we talk about, the state of the band from time to time, the morale. And one of the things that I think we missed out with a previous member of the band was just that morale wasn't there. It was about only competition as opposed to sharing the wealth and having a positive network amongst you with musicians, because that's the only way you're really going to get picked up at another gig, maybe opening up for someone,
Or when someone gets sick and they're like, hey, we can't play, who's going to cover?
Right.
And we call people, I mean, we've called you before to come fill in for my dad before.
Yeah. That was a really fun show. We played at one of the Claremont colleges. Pitzer College, and there was just a sea of kids that were just there. Was it their first day at the dorms or something? It
was back to school, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Sick.
Yeah. They weren't even born in the 90s, and we were playing 90s music. It was great.
Right.
How did they react? Did they enjoy it?
It's still on the radio. They know all the songs.
That's dope.
Yeah, right on, right on. Well, you have your own business. You're in your office, your area, your workspace.
I call it my studio.
Your studio.
It's set up like a little store, but it's not a storefront.
It's in the Arts District of Pomona.
It is
really cool area. How did you come to like get that space? Because I'm sure there was some people looking at it, or how did it come about?
My friend, one of my best friends, Heather, actually had a space. She's a photographer. She actually did your photos.
She did our
Heather
pictures.
Behar.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. The ones on the album. Yeah.
Yes. So she had a space across the hall where she does photography, and she also plays Tibetan bowls and does sound healing. So she uses that studio space for that, and she's like, you should come look and see if there's anything, talk to the landlord, see if there's anything else available. My studio was actually a storage closet.
Oh, shit.
That she's like, I'll rent this to you cheap. Like, they were just throwing stuff in that room. It wasn't a storage closet, but it was their storage closet. Like, it was the smallest space in the building.
Yeah.
It's only like 165 square feet. It's a little bigger than this. So she's like, I'll rent it to you cheap. So I have super cheap rent. It's super haunted.
Oh, shit.
So I will not stay there at night. But yeah, it's good to have my own space.
Yeah, totally.
Haunted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you hear things? See things?
Things move.
All of the above.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's an old building. It was built in like 1915 or something.
Boo, late night podcast, Crystal Story.
1903, I think.
do
It's
it.
old. It's old. And, well, the guys actually have more stories than we do.
The Boo Bar Show.
The Boo.
The Boo Bar
It
Show.
allegedly used to be a hotel of sorts.
Right.
So the women that, lived there,
Uh-huh.
they mess with the boys. They don't mess with us.
Okay.
Oh.
So, yeah.
You guys
the
are
guy
screwed.
The guy down the hall that sells insurance is all freaked out, and he's like, listen to this.
Does he have insurance?
He does now.
He gets late night phone calls from the office to his cell phone, and no one's in there.
Oh,
Nice.
what the
Stuff like that.
That's dope. Let's
So-
do it.
Oh,
Let's do
ghosts in the 21st century.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you're going to see the nun from The Conjuring come out. Oh, no. No, I don't want to see it.
Freaking you out.
So scary.
So how's business? How's everything coming along? I mean, you've had to build it from soup to nuts to where you're at now.
I used to work at a bank,
Uh-huh.
and I worked there for 10 years. And in 2010, they laid us off.
Oh.
And I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore. I don't want to work for a corporation. This
Yeah.
is awful. They don't care about you.
Yeah.
I would sit at my desk and make jewelry all day long, and everyone's like, why you sing, you do this, like, why are you here? We don't understand. So I'm like, all right.
Go on, get.
Yeah.
You can get it.
So we got a little severance package, and I took my money and partnered with somebody for a while. That lasted like a year. We went our separate ways, but I had walked away with about $10,000 worth of inventory.
Oh.
So I flipped that again for a little while, and I've just built it from the ground up. And I sell online, and I go do trade shows from time to time. That's kind of slowed down with what's going on with my family and stuff right now. But
Okay.
that's why I got the studio space, because of my mom's health, I've had to move back in with my family, and I needed somewhere to work. They live in a little house with no lighting.
Yeah, you're not going to get a lot done, I'm sure.
And I can't just leave it sitting there and come back to it. Whereas this, I can, leave stuff out, walk away, come back and work on it later.
Right.
So it's worked out.
So, is there a specific website that people can go to check out your stuff?
There is. I'm on Instagram under Vintage Fairy Finds, or my name. It pops up too. There's only one me, Crystal Basica.
Yeah.
And then I also sell on Etsy under Vintage Fairy Finds as well.
So everybody check out Vintage Fairy Finds. I can't talk today, man.
No, you can, man.
I can't talk.
You can't. Don't rely on me.
Come on, man. Yeah, you've been watching that football game. Everybody, the reason Josh has been particularly silent this entire episode.
My Eagles are playing today.
His Eagles are playing. It's the
Falcons.
It's what, the first day of the NFL?
First day of the NFL,
season?
and I'm in here doing a podcast. but that's all right because I'm watching the game.
Watching it as we pod.
I was trying not to react to anything on the screen while you were talking, Crystal, because I was about to yell some fucking shit right now.
So what's going on? Bring us up to speed.
Okay, so right now the score is tied 3-3. The Eagles look like shit, and the Falcons look like shit. So it's kind of evened out a little bit.
All right.
It's a shit game.
So it's
Bird shit.
bird shit, exactly. It's buzzard shit right now. But it's still the second quarter, and we'll see right now. That's how I feel right now, man. Feel like it.
I can sense the excitement coming out of that computer over there.
Oh yes,
sure.
man. I'm holding it in. I'm holding it in.
So I saw this online today. You guys let me know what you think. It's a stupid little what do you call those fan theories of the Flintstones and the Jetsons.
Great.
Somebody came up with this idea that the Flintstones actually take place in the future.
Get the fuck out of here.
And what the whole thing with them is that the reason they have technology, language, all this shit is that they're in a post-apocalyptic setting where it happened after the Jetsons took place.
What?
Yeah. So the Jetsons had nuclear war, and then they fucked themselves up. And, a little bit down the line, humans came back up to speed. Boom, Flintstones. Okay, so... Crystal, what do you think?
Anything's possible?
Oh, God damn it. All right, go ahead.
Kevin Garnett. Anything is possible. No, that's bullshit. That's stupid. And that's
one thing that ties it in...
Okay.
If I may add, is that at one point, I think it might have been like in 1987, they had a crossover episode of the Flintstones and the Jetsons, where the little boy in the Jetson,
Elroy?
Probably. He built a time machine. I guess he takes a family trip to the future, but instead of going to the future, it somehow malfunctions, and they find themselves in bedrock.
Wow.
Right. Cue the Inception horn. And so at that point, I don't know, they do what they need to do, but this motherfucker ties it in by saying that it actually was accurate. They did go into the future. But they just saw their setting around them and said, "This isn't the future. How could it be?" But that was, part of the theory.
Those guys at Hanna-Barbera just got drunk one night and said, "Let's do this."
Hey, it would be funny.
They're all in the same studio.
We put the Jetsons in bedrock.
Right?
Yeah. They're all stoned as fuck.
I totally thought we'd have flying cars by now, though.
Yeah, well, terrorists fucked it up for us.
Thanks a lot, Osama.
Terrorists.
Well, I mean, there's huge holes in that fucking theory, man. Mm-hmm. Like, where the hell where's the metal? There's absolutely no metal in the Flintstones.
Yeah, because they got bombed back into the Stone Age.
Shut the fuck up. You...
It's a living.
Fuck you.
Yeah. Anyway, Steph.
Yeah?
Do you have any health and such for us today?
I wouldn't call it health and such. It just...
with Steph. All right, it falls in the such category.
I guess.
Would you not agree?
Yeah.
This is health and such.
And such.
And such.
Emphasis on the such today. Oh, son of a bitch.
So what do you got?
Yesterday, the 5th of September, there was a flight flying from Dubai into JFK, and the flight was quarantined because somebody was sick.
Zombie apocalypse.
No.
So what happened?
Get your flamethrower ready.
So anybody that's taken a flight before, you're not allowed to travel while you're ill. They will kick you off the plane, and you can't travel when you're drunk.
Then how come there's always someone coughing next to me when I'm on a plane?
It's the air.
People can cover it up.
Is that recycled air?
While they're being screened, they can cover it up and say, "Oh, I'm fine. You look at me. I'm not throwing up. I'm not sweating. I'm not coughing or anything." And so you're in this enclosed cabin, airtight, metal tube shooting through the air. What do you think's going to happen? That virus is going to multiply. Everybody's going to get sick.
Yeah, fuck yeah. So what happened with this flight?
They quarantined it at JFK. Apparently Vanilla Ice was also on this flight.
Or did it get him?
Did it get him?
He has not said.
Dude, he's patient zero.
All right,
That's him.
I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Patient zero. Bye,
so,
Chef.
roughly, I'm getting this from CNN, roughly 106 of the more than 500 people on the flight, which originally in Dubai and landed in New York's John F. Kennedy Airport just after 9 a.m. were quarantined, reported symptoms such as coughing, fever, and vomiting.
Oh.
So I guess now the media is reporting it as just a flu, cold-like symptoms and just a flu, but a lot of health professionals were worried that it could be MERS, which is a Middle East respiratory syndrome.
I was going to say it had to be something else because...
Yeah, it's weird.
A flu's a flu.
Yeah.
It's the flu, but I get it.
I think the flight itself is long enough for... If
they had enough time to incubate and spread. Great. Yeah. Isn't that like an 8-hour flight from
Dubai?
No. Actually, it's a little longer.
Longer.
Yeah.
12?
I think maybe like 10.
Wow.
I'm not exactly
sure.
Yeah,
you're in there for a while.
Yeah.
So they were thinking that it's MERS, and MERS is a lot more deadly than The flu.
What happens when you have MERS?
Most people who died though had a underlying